Good evening, everyone, and a very, very happy birthday to Canada. Today is Canada's birthday, and the fact that today is a beautiful day for me to share the things that I have in my life, because I come from such a great nation. I'm a little biased when it comes to talking about Canada, solely because I have spent literally 2/3 of my life growing up in this beautiful country, and it has so much to offer to not just its own people, but it's got its doors open to literally anyone who wants to enhance their lives. And it doesn't have as many bars for people who are trying to better in their lives, because it is very important for a country and its citizens to understand that you're gonna have to have that welcoming nature for people to respect you in the long run. And Canada is something that has done that for so long. And I'm just very, very glad that I associate my being with this country. So I'm gonna share with you guys the best things I found growing up in Canada, and the things I am super proud of. So the first thing being, it has to be number one, Tim Hortons. So Tim Hortons is not only the first place where I started working, so it gave me a very quick glimpse of what real life is, and what real life struggles are, and how hard it is for you to earn money to make a living, and for you to just be independent. So Tim Hortons is very special like that. The other reason why Tim Hortons is very special in my life is because Tim Hortons coffee, Sudeep probably thinks that I'm addicted to coffee, but at the same time I may or may not be addicted. I don't think I'm the best judge to tell you that, but I personally feel, because my headaches can get so bad, like it can ruin my day. So I'm just very glad that not only I have this headache thing that can get really, really ugly, but I also know how to deal with it, right? And how to not fall prey of something that's trying to get the best of me. So that's definitely has to be on number one. Number two, I think it's a no-brainer for anybody who is trying to research about Canada. Our maple syrups are something that's literally famous in the entire world, and the fact that our maple syrups make it so high on the chart for people to associate our entire country with it. So definitely maple syrups got to be number two. Also because the part of India I come from, jaggery is something that's very, very popular. Kolkata being one of those cities where good is something that is very, very popular. Good is basically known as jaggery in a syrupy form, and some come in solid forms also. So whenever I think of maple syrup, the first thing that comes to my mind is the jaggery flavor that I miss from Kolkata. Although they don't taste the same, but they can give each other a very tight competition. So that has to be number two for sure. Number three, I think what I really respect about Canada is that although I have a gun license, and there is a procedure for you to obtain it, I'm really glad about the fact that Canada has such strict gun laws when it comes to putting a law around something, that people can take it very easily if the government was not very strict about it. So that is something I really respect about, also because it sort of makes it very hard for people to obtain it if they really had bad intentions. It's not as easy. If somebody wanted to do something bad, they'll do it anyways. But what I really like about this whole law that's very strict around the whole gun thing in Canada is that they've made it very, very, very hard. So you actually got to put in some effort there. There are still loopholes that are gonna be there, but at least the country is trying. So That's definitely got to be on number 3. Number 4, I think number 4 would be definitely the fact that Canada is so anti like racism, you know. I mean, Canadians are very, very polite when it comes to accepting other people. Also because our country is greatly made up of so many different kinds of nations. Nationalities. Canada is just made up of way too many nationalities for Canadians to ever be sort of racist against one another. So that's something great, because I grew up in that country, and although I mean there are gonna be some odd ones out, but you cannot hold some bad people, and you're not gonna be able to hold that against an entire nation. So basically what I'm trying to say is Canadians are very, very polite people. Number 5 could definitely go to, I think, the amount of Indian food that is available, at least in the places that I was very frequent to when I was growing up. I really appreciated that, because if it wasn't for, you know, so much variety of the Indian things that we were used to, it would have been very hard for me to sort of accept the whole cultural shock and the changes that came with moving into literally the other side of the world. So I think I really appreciate the fact that, you know, there's so much Indian variety where I grew up. I mean, I'm very glad that Canada still has most of its land preserved for, you know, beautiful nature, and therefore I think we also contribute a lot to cleaning out our environment, right? Because we have so many trees and so many beautiful landscapes that we just sort of didn't touch. We just left it on its own. So I think that is something that is pretty big also. The other thing that I appreciate about being a Canadian is that although I don't like cold weather, okay, I'm gonna put it out there first, but at the same time, what I really like about the fact that I got to grow up in a very cold country, as cold as you know, Canada, I think there are times in life when it teaches you a lot to be patient, and it doesn't come from your stereotypical ways of learning things. You know, whatever patience I have is due to the fact that, you know, I have gone through such severe weather conditions, especially when I was not ready, at least mentally, that, you know, it sort of teaches you that, you know, there's nothing you can do. Basically, you have to live with it. I think number 8 should definitely go to the fact that because I got to grow up in a country where, you know, I started working at an age of 16, and, you know, it's the biggest life skill I have so far in my life, that I got to go out there, earn my first dollar when I was 16. And, you know, I had people telling me what to do, and they were not part of my family or my school, my teachers, my friends. These are literally strangers, and I have to listen to them. I have to respect them. I cannot talk back. I have to conduct myself in a very professional way. All these things, when you're 16, they don't come to your head, especially when you don't like what's going on around you. So I learned to, you know, sort of basically keep my lips glued if I didn't like anything. A lot of that came from, you know, working at such an early age, and I really respect that about myself also, that, you know, I learned to not waste money and to save up, to do better things with your money than to just go out there and just like spend it on things that you would later on think that, you know, it was not wise for you to spend your money on all of that. Number 9 is something that is very personal to me. I'm going to be talking about the whole, when I went to go have our daughter, the whole experience in the hospital was so beautiful. I mean, people were not only, they they knew what they were doing, but at the same time, you know, they didn't have the snobbish attitude behind it. They were so humble. Each and every one of the staff members I got to know during the whole process of bringing Parineeti into this world, it was so, you know, I was so relaxed. So you know, I think the fact that, you know, Canada is very popular for the reason that, you know, they say in Canadian under Canadian government, the whole healthcare system is free. You know, people don't have to pay as much. Well, we do, sort of, through our taxes. But at the same time, you know, even you could be spending a whole lot of money, but you cannot buy good attitude. You cannot buy humbleness. You cannot buy people who have knowledge but at the same time don't act like snobs. You cannot buy those things with money, especially at a time when you need people to care for you. And you know, so number 10 is one of my personal favorites, is because I learned how to drive a car in Canada, and I'm so glad for, you know, at least the community I was growing up in. The drivers around me were, some of them, I mean, you have those drivers everywhere, right? Some drivers were going crazy because I was still a new driver, but most of the drivers around me, they were very very civil. You know, it's something very it's nice, because when you're new, when you don't know what you're supposed to expect, when you don't know if you're gonna mess up, when you're gonna mess up, it is very important for people to at least do their part. You know, they're not messing around with you, they're not messing up their own selves for you to make a mistake. So it sort of encourages that behavior in new drivers, especially young drivers, right? That, hey, if he is not doing the right thing, why should I be doing it? So I really think that, you know, it's very important for us to encourage young drivers to be driving safely and appropriately. I definitely want to tell everyone out there, please be safe, please drive safe, please be careful, please, wherever you are, you know, live happily, safely. Wish you guys all a very good health and hope you guys prosper each and every day.